Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world with me, Deepika, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Trump Town Place tariff walkback indicates new tariffs on smartphones and computers, says looking at semiconductors and electronic supply chain as part of upcoming national security tariff investigations. Zelensky urges Trump to visit Ukraine to see devastation after 34 killed in Russian strike in Sumy. White House says strike a stark reminder of need for peace talks. Ousted South Korean President Yoon faces first criminal trial for insurrection after last December's martial law bid. And fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi arrested in Belgium on India's request for extradition. Centre hails the arrest, terms it as a big achievement. A very good afternoon to all our viewers joining us at this afternoon broadcast at DD India Live. To begin with the latest that we're tracking from the US. US President Donald Trump is doubling down on his trade war with China, warning that no country will be getting off the hook when it comes to tariffs. In a new social media post, Donald Trump clarified his stance on recently announced tariff exemptions for certain electronics like smartphones and laptops, stating that they will be short-lived. Meanwhile, the battle over tariffs escalates with significant economic consequences. Here's a report.
In a fiery message on Truth Social, Trump retaliated that the exemptions, which were seen as a break for tech giants like Apple and Dell, will be temporary. He added that the US is focusing on a national security trade investigation into key industries like semiconductors and electronics. Trump said he will be announcing the tariff rate on imported semiconductors over the next week.
The tariffs will be in place in the not distant future because, as you know, like we did with steel, like we did with automobiles, like we did with aluminum, which are now fully on, we'll be doing that with semiconductors, with chips, and numerous other things. And that'll take place in the very near future.
In an interview with the US media network, White House trade advisor Peter Navarro said that US has opened an invitation to China to negotiate, but criticized its role in the fentanyl supply chain. He also mentioned that China was not included in talks with 7 other entities: the UK, EU, India, Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, and Israel. Critical technology products from China would face separate new duties along with semiconductors within the next 2 months.
Remember, those products are going to be part of the semiconductor sectoral tariffs, which are coming. So you're going to see this week there'll be a register in the Federal Registry. There'll be a notice put out. That is different types of work. So we're going to do that. We did that in autos. The president's going to do it for pharmaceuticals, and he's going to do it for semiconductors.
Tariffs tango has hit the global markets rather hard. The S&P 500 index is down more than 10% since Trump took office, with analysts warning of a potential recession. With tensions high and markets on the edge, the trade war between the US and China shows no signs of abating, and markets may continue to witness extreme volatility in weeks ahead. Aarti Rana's report for DD India.
Chinese President Xi Jinping begins a 3-nation tour of Southeast Asia nations on Monday, beginning his state visits with Vietnam. During his visit, he called for stronger cooperation with Vietnam in industrial and supply chains and wider collaborations in emerging fields. Xi Jinping also urged strengthening coordination and cooperation through regional initiatives such as the East Asia Cooperation and the Lansang-Mekong Cooperation. He further called such efforts necessary to inject more stability and positive energy into a chaotic and intertwined world. A signed article by Chinese President Xi Jinping titled "Building on Past Achievements and Making New Advances in Pursuit of Shared Goals" was published on Monday by the Nam Dan newspaper of Vietnam ahead of Xi's state visit. In the article, he said China and Vietnam are both socialist countries and neighbors, sharing common ideals as well as broad strategic interests. He noted building the China-Vietnam community with a shared future that carries strategic significance serves the common interests of the two countries. The Chinese leader warned that trade war and tariff war will produce no winner and protectionism will lead nowhere. Chinese President Xi Jinping is on a two-day state visit to Vietnam, which is the first stop in his tour of 3 Southeast Asian countries. Now, the criminal trial of South Korea's ousted leader Yoon began on Monday over charges that he led an insurrection when he declared martial law late last year and plunged the country into months of turmoil. Now, Yoon sought to impose military rule on the country when he ordered the suspension of political activity and the censorship of media on the 3rd of December last year. The decree lasted just 6 hours as it was voted down by opposition MPs. Now, if convicted, Yoon could face life imprisonment or even a death penalty. Hong Jo-pyo, the ex-mayor of the South Korean city of Daegu, announced his bid for the presidency on Monday. Hong, in a social media post, said that he will run in the Conservative People Power Party's primary. He was the presidential nominee of the Liberty Korea Party in the 2017 South Korean presidential election and came in second place during the general election, losing to Moon Jae-in. Now, Hong ran as a candidate in the 2022 South Korean presidential election for the nomination of the Conservative People Power Party and came in second place during the primaries, narrowly losing to Yoon Suk-yeol. South Korea will hold a presidential election on the 3rd of June after former President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment stemming from a December martial law declaration which was upheld on the 4th of April. Moving on, a Russian missile strike hit the Ukrainian city of Sumy on Palm Sunday, killing at least 34 people and injuring 117 others, including 15 children. The attack occurred on Sunday when 2 ballistic missiles struck the city's center near the Russian border during a time when residents were attending church services. The strike caused widespread destruction, with burning cars and bodies left in the streets. Sumy's acting mayor has also announced 3 days of mourning for the victims, starting from Monday. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack and demanded a tough international response against Moscow over the attack.
Wars end only when criminal wars are not forgotten and when there is a pressure on the aggressor. This is not happening now. Last Friday, 1 month has passed since Russia rejected the American proposal of a full, unconditional ceasefire. They feel no fear, and that's why there are missiles. That's why there are 100 combat drones each night, most of them Shaheeds.
Meanwhile, criticizing the strike, U.S. National Security Council spokesperson Brian Kuntz said that the attack is a stark reminder of a need for peace talks. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has invited U.S. President Donald Trump to visit Ukraine to witness first-hand devastation caused by the ongoing conflict. Speaking to an American news channel, CBS News, Zelensky said that he wants Donald Trump to see the impact on the civilians, soldiers, hospitals, churches and children before making any decisions or engaging any negotiations. Now, this invitation comes as Donald Trump pushes for a swift end to the conflict, with the U.S. exploring potential truces and holding talks with both Ukraine and Russia. Zelensky believes a visit would give Donald Trump a deeper understanding of the situation, allowing him to make more informed decisions about U.S.'s involvement and potential negotiations with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Iran's foreign ministry said on Sunday that talks with the United States slated for next weekend would remain indirect, with Omani mediation, and be focused solely on the nuclear issue and lifting of the sanctions. Now, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff held a first round of talks on Saturday in Muscat, marking the highest-level Iran-U.S. nuclear negotiations since the collapse of a 2015 accord. Another round of talks will be held on the 19th of April. The American news agency reported that the talks will be held in Rome. And Saturday's negotiations came weeks after Donald Trump sent a letter to Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei urging nuclear talks while warning of possible military action if Iran refuses. Trump has meanwhile said on Sunday that he expected to make a decision on Iran very quickly after both the countries said they held positive and constructive talks in Oman. Trump also told the reporters aboard Air Force One that he met with the advisors of Iran and expected a quick decision. Gabon's coup leader, Prasar Bharati, won the presidential election with 90.35% of votes. Provisional results showed on Sunday, cementing his grip on power. Nguma's victory further solidifies his control over the country 19 months after he ousted the Bongo family, which had ruled Gabon for over 50 years. Former Prime Minister Alain-Claude Bilié Nguma's main rival, received just 3.02% in the election, which had 8 candidates in total. He had served under former President Ali Bongo, who was deposed in the coup. An earthquake of magnitude 6.5 struck south of the Fiji Islands on Monday. The tremors occurred at a depth of 10 kilometers, making it susceptible to aftershocks. The south of the Fiji Islands is known to be earthquake-prone, as evidenced by recent seismic activity and historical records. Now, this region is located within the Fiji seismic zone, an area known for frequent earthquakes. The zone experiences numerous earthquakes, including some of significant magnitude as well. Time to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live. Now, in line with his commitment to boost infrastructure and connectivity, Prime Minister Narendra Modi flagged off commercial flight from Hisar to Ayodhya and laid the foundation stone of the new terminal building of Hisar's airport. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also inaugurated and laid the foundation stone of development projects in Yamunanagar. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister said the government working on all fronts of developmental progress.
जहां जाएंगे उतनी ही ज्यादा नौकरियां पायलट के रूप में हो, एयर होस्टेस के रूप में हो, सैकड़ों नई सेवाएं भी होती है। एक जगह हवाई जहाज चलता है तब ग्राउंड स्टाफ होता है, न जाने कितने काम होता है। ऐसी अनेक सेवाओं के लिए नौजवानों को रोजगार के अवसर मिलेंगे। इतना ही नहीं, हवाई जहाज के मेंटेनेंस से जुड़ा एक बड़ा सेक्टर भी अनगिनत रोजगार बनाएगा। हिसार का ये एयरपोर्ट भी हरियाणा के नौजवानों के सपनों को नई ऊंचाई देगा। साथियों, हमारी सरकार एक तरफ कनेक्टिविटी पर बल दे रही है, दूसरी तरफ गरीब कल्याण और सामाजिक न्याय भी सुनिश्चित कर रही है।
Boosting power infrastructure in the region along with the vision of electricity reaching the last mile, Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of modern thermal power unit in Yamunanagar. This unit, which is spread across 233 acres, will significantly boost Haryana's energy self-sufficiency and provide uninterrupted power supply across the state. And taking forward the vision of Kopad Dhan, that is galvanizing organic bio-agro resources Dhan, Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of a compressed biogas plant. The plant will have an annual production capacity of 2,600 metric tons and will help in effective organic waste management while contributing to clean energy production and environmental conservation. The nation pays homage to the chief architect of the Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, on his birth anniversary today. Several functions have been organized throughout the country to mark the occasion. India's President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid floral tributes to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in Parliament House complex this morning. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar donned many hats, being a social reformer, economist, politician who dedicated his life to the people. From a humble beginning, he went on to become the first Law and Justice Minister of independent India. Baba Sahib was awarded India's highest civilian honour, the Bharat Ratna, posthumously in the year 1990. So today marks the birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the celebrations are underway across the national capital as well. At the Parliament Street, a sea of people has gathered since early morning to pay tribute to the principal architect of the Indian Constitution. The atmosphere is vibrant with cultural performances, songs and themed stalls reflecting Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's enduring legacy. TD India correspondent Dibyendu Monal brings us this ground report from the heart of the celebrations. Take a look.
India today celebrates the 135th birth anniversary of Baba Sahib Ambedkar, the man who is also known as the architect of the Indian Constitution. Many also revere him as the father of the Indian Constitution, who chaired the Constituent Assembly during the time of independence when the Constitution of India was being drafted. We are here today at the Parliament Street in the national capital, New Delhi, here in India. And you can see how hundreds and millions of people are coming in to celebrate the birth anniversary of Dr. Ambedkar. And what marks this occasion so special is also about the fact that this man fought for equality and justice in the society. And these many people that you see that are making their line, in fact making their way to the statue of B.R. Ambedkar at the Parliament Street, is to show their respect for the man who fought for an equal and a just society. This area of Parliament Street is in fact being decked up, is in fact having a festive mood where people are celebrating the work and the life of B.R. Ambedkar. Today also you can see how all the central government employees, different associations of the central government employees as well as the people who respect him have set up their stalls selling books as well as statues and also the teachings of B.R. Ambedkar to the people who have gathered here and in fact have been gathering here since morning. Like these people who have been inspired by the life and teachings of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, there are millions who follow the ideals of the man who has not only been the architect of the Indian Constitution, but also paved the way for a just and equal society in India. With camera person Uttam, this is Dibyendu Mondal from New Delhi for DD India.
Moving on, in Kerala, Vishu, the farming festival denoting New Year in Kerala, is being celebrated across the state. The day began with traditional Vishu Kani ritual, where auspicious items are arranged before the deity for devotees to see as their first sight, symbolizing hopes for a prosperous year. Early morning rituals and darshan were held at temples as well across the state. And people across the northeastern state of Assam are celebrating Rongali Bihu, also known as Bohag Bihu, marking the onset of the Assamese New Year. The festival, that usually spans 7 days and is popularly called Sat Bihu, begins today with Goru Bihu, a day dedicated to honouring cattle, particularly cows. Communities come together in large numbers, singing and dancing to folk tunes, symbolising the start of the paddy cultivation season. And Bangladesh is celebrating Pahila Baishakh, the Bengali New Year, with traditional enthusiasm. The day began with a performance by the cultural group Chayanath at Ramna Park in Dhaka, featuring classical songs, Rabindra Sangeet and poetry recitals. The celebration symbolizes the inclusive and joyful culture of the Bengali people, with people from all walks of life participating in the event. Moving on to one of the biggest national updates, fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi has been arrested in Belgium on India's extradition request for his role in the PNB bank loan fraud case, a development that comes weeks after media reports confirmed that the businessman is living in country's Antwerp with his wife after obtaining a residency card in there. Now, Indian agencies, the Enforcement Directorate and the Central Bureau of Investigation moved for his extradition from Belgium. And DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us with more information on this. Good morning, Akshay. Now, this comes as a huge development after following all due diligence procedures legally as well. Tell us the latest that you're tracking on it, because we are also hearing the fact that Choksi's lawyer is planning to challenge it.
Well, that is obvious that the legal team of Mehul Choksi is trying to avoid this extradition, but it's coming in. The arrest coming in from the authorities in Belgium is in itself a great news, especially for not just for the Indian government, but for the people of India as well. Because a person who is alleged to defraud, who is accused of defrauding the Punjab National Bank of India of a tune of about 14,000 crore approximately, is finally near the clutches of the law. Because earlier we have seen that he tried to take citizenship of a third country, Antigua, and now after years of playing hide and seek with the Indian authorities, finally the news has come that Mehul Choksi has been spotted in Belgium, where he has been trying to obtain citizenship as well as residency. But the biggest point here to understand is that the treaty between Belgium and India over extradition has been signed several years back, and which allows economic offenders, terrorists, and other criminals to be extradited if they are not the citizen. There is a different procedure for citizens to be extradited, but since Choksi is not a citizen, then it makes it easier for the Indian authorities, especially the Enforcement Directorate and other agencies that are in fact probing his defrauding of the bank, will be able to push ahead with the extradition. Now, Choksi's wife is a Belgian citizen, and based on that, Choksi has been living in Belgium for some time and has been trying to find permanent residency there as well. But it seems that the extradition treaty has worked, and finally there is hope that Mehul Choksi, a major economic offender, can be brought back to India. Now, this is coming in very few days only after Tahabur Rana was also extradited from the US, who was sent to India to face his own charges in terrorism cases related to 26/11 and the planning of those terror attacks in India. But terror attack being one of the very important, very major crimes, his extradition was natural. But Mehul Choksi's progress as far as his own extradition is concerned has come out as a major relief for the Indian authorities, especially the financial watchdogs that have been trying to trial him over the huge losses that have been incurred by the Indian banks because of the cases that are against Mehul Choksi and his relative Lalit Modi as well, who also is in London, and attempts are on to extradite him from the UK as well. If Choksi comes back to India, there is hope that Lalit Modi will also be brought to the country.
And what would be the next line of action once he is here in India, Akshay?
Well, it's a huge wait before he is back in India, Deepika, because as you have rightly mentioned, there are reports that his lawyers are planning to challenge it. We know that the due course of law takes its own time, and till the time the authorities will have to make their case strong presented in a way that it becomes easier for the Belgium authorities to extradite him to India as well, and so that there are no challenges. It's been reported also that Mehul Choksi is trying to cite his health as one of the reasons to not extradite him back to India. But if the case is strong enough and if he's extradited, then certainly he will be tried in all the Prevention of Money Laundering Acts, along with other economic offences that he has committed in India, and also he will be tried in cases related to conspiracy and tampering with the evidences, because he ran away from India and has been running away from a law ever since he left the country, and has been going from one country to another and trying to evade the agencies that are trying to probe him for the crimes that he has done in the country.
All right. Thank you so much, Akshay, for joining us and bringing us the latest on this huge development, which means a lot when we talk about India's financial safety and security. And as our correspondent also mentioned about how this is going to be a big development for financial watchdogs across India as well, and especially the fact that it is followed by Tahafur Rana's extradition as well. And with this, it's a wrap here on DD India Live, as that's all for this edition. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.